you are in the space and the time you're in. And then connecting to the sounds around you. If you can become aware of any sounds that are distant, could be closer, moving your awareness from one sound to the next. And in case you are in a place that's very quiet, see if you can catch on any sound of the wind, sound of your own breath, sound of my voice, sound of your heartbeat, moving from one to the next without assigning any meaning, any affiliation, any attachment to any particular sound. Staying neutral. And this is an excellent practice for when the mind is particularly busy. So there can be times when we are so racy in the head that focusing on the breath can feel challenging. And in times like these, sound awareness practice is really helpful because it can keep us in the moment while keeping the mind in a way occupied by changing the object of attention. So we are really not thinking, but at the same time, we're also practicing awareness. So then moving awareness. If you can hear, there are kids playing in the background where I am today. They're playing field football. So if you can catch sounds like that, again, without attaching any meaning or having any attachment to any sound. And if your mind begins to wander, you can, whenever you catch it, you can bring it back to your breath or to the sound of my voice. Staying with the practice. Staying as much as you can with your awareness moving from one sound to the next. Then gently guiding your attention to your breath and checking in one more time with the breath. Does it feel any different? Does the mind feel any different? Is there a sense of feeling a bit more settled? And maybe there isn't, and that's okay too. Checking in with the body, if the body is feeling more relaxed. And then becoming aware of the space you're in. And slowly and gently opening your eyes. Welcome to day 5 of module 5. Welcome to Mighty Champions Daily Live. Today, we'll be continuing from where we left off yesterday, which was about exploring decision making, aligning with our values. And today, the topic that we'll be going further into is I think one that's really important. It's also very helpful, and we learn practical ways to build on that, which is how do we build self trust, or how do we learn to trust ourselves again? So we'll explore themes of our inner authority, our intuition, uh, our inner voice, self trust. Now, I'd like you to think about say, what does it mean when you say, I trust myself? What does trusting someone say, I trust this person, I trust my friend, I trust my mother, whoever it is. What does trust mean? If you'd like to share, you can. Else, thinking about like, what does it even mean to trust someone? What does it mean to trust myself? So, trust means a few things. It actually um, contains a few things. Trusting means that I can rely on myself. Um, in times of need, I will back myself. Self trust means that I will keep my word. So if I promise something for myself, I will do it. Self trust also means that um, I will make decisions that are in my best interest. So I will not go against myself and do something. Self trust means that I will mostly put myself first. It means that I'll take care of myself. I'll watch out for my interest, for my well being. So we see in all of this, and if there's anything else that you think trust could mean, you could share it here. But what self trust does not mean is that I will always make the right decision, because we will never always make the right decision. We will tend to make decisions that are, say, mm, don't work out that well, or don't end up creating the kind of results that we thought they would. So self trust is not the confidence that I will always make the right decision, or all my decisions will be correct. However, it's the confidence as well that whatever I choose with my wisdom and my awareness, I can meet the consequences of that. That's a huge difference. So it again, it doesn't mean that because I made mistakes, so I will not trust myself. Every person, no matter how wise, intelligent they are, they do tend to make mistakes. The difference is that we can continue to remain in relationship with ourselves even after that mistake or that error in judgment. And if you have in any way stopped trusting yourself, or you feel like you don't trust yourself as much as you'd like to, maybe this is a good time to think about, when did I stop trusting myself? What made me stop trusting myself? And you can take a minute to consider that. When was the time? What happened when I stopped trusting myself? Now, we we can tend to stop trusting ourselves after, say, a failed relationship. We have, say, some work failures. We choose maybe the wrong career, or we are at times repeatedly criticized by other people. Um, if we've grown up with controlling parents, or if, say, our feelings have never been validated, we can tend to lose trust in ourselves. And another sort of systemic issue, I would say, is also that we are taught, that we should trust authority figures, we should trust elders, we should trust experts, parents, tradition. We should trust, like, we should trust everyone. However, we are not really taught how can we trust ourselves. No, we can tend to think this person knows better than me, but we don't develop the skill to trust ourselves. And yeah, and at some point we realize that we really don't trust ourselves. Now, how do we know if we are not trusting ourselves? We could we could tend to, rely more heavily on other people's opinions. We could seek a lot of outside opinion, not just with one person, but we could want, a few people's opinions before we make a decision. We could stop trusting, our words. So if I say that I'm going to wake up, at 6 in the morning, and I don't do it for some time, maybe then I start feeling like I will never do it. So I start labeling myself as someone who, cannot wake up in the morning and go for a walk or whatever it is. So we stop trusting our word. We also lose confidence in our ability to deal with difficult situations, and therefore we start relying on someone else, that if things were to go wrong, then I am not enough by myself to deal with it. I need support. And that's where, we can check in and we can see that, okay, in some way we are losing, or we have lost, sorry for that, trust in ourselves. Now, um we uh, we can confuse, again, trust with a feeling of, say, excessive confidence, with certainty, with decisiveness. But we also know that we can be both. We can be confident and wrong. We can be very certain but completely mistaken. We can be decisive and yet, be actually foolish about something. So trusting ourselves also then means that we can be present with the experience that we are having, and we can assess, we can gauge depending on what really is happening in that time. Um, we can also start feeling that, say, a relationship did not work. I trusted that person, they broke my trust. I should have seen it. It was my fault that I didn't see it coming, or I gave too many chances. Um, and say it happens a couple of times, or it happens in a very strong relationship where we feel like we were blindsided and we couldn't see it. Now, we could end up feeling like, because I didn't do something well, I cannot trust myself. However, we should also know that at times we will be blindsided. Maybe we cannot see everything else, and that's okay. So before we assign all the blame to ourselves, before we take complete responsibility for making a mistake, or or losing confidence, or trusting someone who broke our trust, we can put more context and understand that we did our best, whatever we had at that time. And it doesn't mean that, I am wrong, or I'm foolish, or I can never judge people. I'm a bad judge of people. A lot of people say that, I'm a bad judge of people. I don't know. I don't know who to trust. The problem is we're not trusting ourselves. It's not about other people. Um, so again, we have, if we believe in that, we have a voice inside of us that knows, that's wise. Now, the problem is that this voice can get suppressed because of, say, our conditioning. Because what conditioning does is that the voice now becomes, this is what people would like me to do. So my true, authentic voice is now taken over by what people would like me to do. It might be taken over by fear because I could start thinking something bad might happen if I do this. It could be taken over by our ego, which will say, how will I look if I do this? So, again, what we discussed yesterday, if we can remove, and again, these voices all serve a purpose, so not that they're trying to harm us, but then going one step ahead and thinking, if these voices were not present, is there is there something that's truer to me, that's more authentic to me, that I could be suppressing? And we'll come on to some tools, towards the end, where we'll see how we can use those tools to build more trust and to connect with that voice. Um, Now, again, when it comes to decision making, we could falsely believe that if we accumulate enough opinions, then we will be able to make a decision that we feel certain about, or there's more surety, there's more clarity. So we start asking our partner, our friend, our sister, our therapist, our colleagues, searching on the internet, and we're looking for advice. But as we know, and as we also discussed, that whenever we seek advice, the person giving the advice is talking from their lens. It might be true for us, it might not be true for us. So even when we seek, say, therapy, or when we go for counseling, say a wrong question to ask would be, what should I do? Because we already know what we should do. We already know um, what will really help us or move us ahead in life, or what really aligns with my values. So what you will get, is only how you can make a decision that is true to you, and develop the confidence to bear both the good and the bad consequences of that decision. And therefore, when we rely on, say, anything external, we want to find the right teacher, the right expert, the right system. We are hoping someone will remove uncertainty from my life. But the truth is that nobody else can choose for us. And maybe nobody else should be choosing for us. Now we can perhaps look at how to build more self-trust, or how to develop trust. Now, mm, so what is the element of self-trust? One of the elements is that we keep our word. And therefore, one of the tools to work on our self-trust is through evidence that I will keep my word, or I will keep the promises I make to myself, even if they are very small ones. So, for example, if you say, I need rest, then you rest. You say, I need a boundary, then you set the boundary. I need honesty, then you speak with honesty. So, every act of honoring the self builds trust in the self. And you can start small. It doesn't have to be big. So say, you decide something. You say that I want to work on my health, rather than making it very overwhelming and choosing to do lots of things that you know that you could be setting yourself up for failure by taking on a lot. Maybe choosing small things, one small step, one small action, and then seeing yourself through it. So, not wanting to do too much together, choosing one small thing, but sticking with it. And then reinforcing to yourself that, oh, I feel good. I went for a walk today. And then maybe, like patting yourself on on your back, reinforcing the benefits of that walk, or say of sleeping, taking a nap when you're feeling tired. Anything that makes you feel positive about that action, about that small action, but done consistently, repeatedly, is a very effective tool to build self trust. Now, another way to get on to, say, trusting your own or decision, or coming on to find out, like, what should I do? So then, rather than asking what is the right decision, because in a way there is no right or wrong decision, you could ask instead yourself, what kind of person do I become by choosing this? Now this brings in again the idea of values, because as we've seen, values are more important eventually than outcomes. So this thing that I want to do, if I do this, what kind of person do I become if I choose this? And then thinking about, if that's the person I feel I'm more aligned to today than I would be. Um, so two things as we've discussed, just reiterating, you can uh, choose one small thing that you want to do. Maybe it's I'll go to bed early, I'll take a break, I'll stop answering work messages at midnight. One small promise to yourself every day, and then keeping it. And then journaling, for 1 week about your achievement, what you did, what your struggle was, how you felt. That's one way. And then the second, as we said, was what kind of person. So maybe then checking in with your values. If you identify your top three, what we did yesterday. So, seeing that if I choose this, does it align with my values? How do I see myself if I choose this? And again, there's no right or wrong. Um, this the third thing that we can do to build self trust is we track the moments, the times when we abandon ourselves in a day. So maybe at the end of the day, asking yourself very honestly, where did I betray myself today, or where was a time when I didn't say no when I wanted to, or said yes when I didn't want to. So maybe examples are I didn't speak up, or I ignored my exhaustion. Um, I stayed silent. So then, as a follow up, what would self loyalty have looked like? Because self trust grows when we decrease our self abandonment. So again, when we can rely on ourselves, when we know that we will act in our best interest, we will do for what is best for us, is when we can increase self trust. So then, assessing, were there times in the day when I abandoned myself, or I didn't stand up for myself, or I didn't do something that was in my best interest? Writing that down. The fourth practice is becoming more connected with the body. Now, why this helps is that is because we the mind and body are connected, right? And the mind, body, breath, actually, all three are connected. So before you make a decision, imagine in your mind the situation, the decision where you're saying no to something, and then notice in your body what happens with your breath, with your chest, in your stomach, in your jaw, in your shoulders, in your back. What kind of reactions come up? And then again, try it with um, imagining, saying yes. So once with yes and once with no, and then see how your body reacts, because we know internally how we are feeling about something. So this is what helps us build our intuition, or whatever it is called, the gut feeling, or our inner voice, whatever you may want to call it. But if something is aligned with us, if it's something that is in tune with what we want, you will see that the body responds very differently. And by practicing this, we can slowly start building alignment in the body and mind. Any exercise that helps you connect more deeply with the body is also great, because you could realize that I'm very disconnected with my body. So I'm not able to feel my breaths. I'm not able to feel any tightness in my body, because I just don't pay attention to the body. So say a practice like yoga, mindful walking can first put us in touch with the body. It can make us more aware of the sensations, experience of the body, discomfort in the body, and and then and then you will see that with practice and with time, you can become very quickly attuned to the body. Um, Another thing that you can do is you can stop asking other people before you know your own answer. So I'm not saying that we should never check in with other people, or never discuss, or seek, different perspectives. But before asking anyone else, maybe write down your own answer first. So thinking, if nobody was there to advise me, what would I choose? And becoming aware of that, writing that down, and then maybe seeking opinions, because then your own opinion is not clouded by what other people are saying. Yeah, anything else? No, I think these are some of the tools that we can use. If there's anything else that you think about self trust, or you feel like something that you have used, or something that you have relied on, then you can share that with everyone, and we can have some time for questions later. For now, we'll do a short practice just to integrate what we have become aware of today. And for that, I'd invite you to sit comfortably, your body straight, if that's possible, maintaining a softness in the body. And connecting to the breath. See if you can deepen your breath, feel it more in the belly. If you can, make your exhale longer than the inhale. And then repeating these words silently in your mind. These words, you can think of them as tiny votes of confidence you give yourself. So really connecting, believing in them, speaking them as they are true. I trust myself. I can completely rely on myself. I take decisions that are in my best interest. I trust myself to make the right decisions for my life. I honor my inner knowing. I am capable of handling whatever challenges come my way. I trust that I'm always supported. It is safe for me to trust myself. I know what is best for me. I choose thoughts that serve my highest good. I trust my inner guidance. And I trust that whatever happens, I can deal with the consequences. I trust my ability to respond to whatever happens. I trust my thoughts. I trust my capacity to remain aware. And while I am on this journey, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And with that, becoming one more time connected to the breath. Taking our last few breaths together. Feeling gratitude for body, mind, and breath. And then maybe giving yourself a nice stretch, opening your eyes, and coming back to our practice. So thanks for being here today, for practicing together. If you have any questions, then we can discuss them now, or if you want anything, if there's anything you'd like to share. Not, then we'll be back tomorrow. And we'll discuss a bit more about decision making. Thank you for being here, and see you all tomorrow.